joined by researchers who invent some of the most advanced metals on the planet, designers who are modeling prototypes in the digital cloud, folks from the Pentagon who help to support their work. Basically, I'm here to announce that we're building Iron Man. I'm going to blast off in a second. This has been a secret project we've been working on for a long time. Not really. Maybe. It's classified.
To be the sponsor of Bill S-233, which we've just commenced study of in the Senate Standing Committee on Finance. The bill would introduce a framework to develop a guaranteed livable basic income. Right now is the fact that we are struggling throughout this country with homelessness, food insecurity, poverty, health, mental health issues, and this is one way that we could start to look at these issues. It's not the only way, but it's certainly a key way.
Well, I think we've reached a nice point, but, you know, when Bitcoin passed $100,000 to $200,000, maybe it'll trade from $250,000 down to $175,000, and people are going to be screaming the end again. Bitcoin is compounding at 40 to 50% annualized growth rate for the past 3.25 years since MicroStrategy got into the space, with a lot of volatility. I think an analyst, Timmer from Fidelity, pointed out it is got the highest volatility of any asset, but it's also got the greatest return. And so, as I've said in the past, volatility is vitality. I'd rather have the volatility and the performance than get rid of the volatility. Gold's not volatile, but it's also down 1% in 3.25 years. So that's not what we're looking for.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Support this great content by hitting the cash app and by joining the Patreon.
And we have Barack Obama on Iron Man. And guys, we know Iron Man is sitting behind the curtain. We know they already have the technology. And don't forget that video is probably like 9 or 10 years old. Now, Patreon members sent me this video about Canada introducing universal basic income. But guys, we know this is a global agenda. Free bread along with the circus. They know the robots, algorithms, and drones are about to take over the economy, and the sheep are going inside the metaverse. But in order to get them inside the metaverse, they need that crisis, and also they're going to dangle that carrot for that free money. But little do the people know, that money is going to be programmable, telling them what, where, and when, and how to buy, and you have 3 to 6 months to spend it or poof, it's gone. And then we have Michael Saylor on Bitcoin volatility. He'd rather have volatility than a manipulated gold price. And I have to agree on this one. Even though Bitcoin is probably the most volatile asset ever, it keeps going up. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you.
Right as we head into the holiday, 2/3 of U.S. consumers are worried about being financially stressed this holiday season, according to Bank of America. Gen Z and millennials, they are especially concerned. How about that? Meantime, new data from Apollo show that retailers are hiring less this holiday season, which is generally done in October. Just 135,000 workers were hired this year, compared with 141,000 last year, 209,000 the year prior. And finally, FedEx encouraging pilots at its cargo airline to take jobs at regional passenger carriers for the holidays because, well, there isn't enough shipping demand to fill everyone's plane flying schedules. Frank Holland is here with more details for us. How bad is it, Frank?
Tyler, it's bad. It's
Really?
terrible.
No.
At least compared to the pandemic.
Yeah.
You got to remember, during the pandemic, we were all locked down. Just a record, unbelievable surge in demand for goods. People wanted to buy things. And obviously, that's changed pretty dramatically. So you got to remember, just last week, we got a fresh read on the global shipping market. At the Evolve Summit, I spoke to FedEx CEO Raj Subramanian. He told us, basically, when it comes to the industrial market, it's soft right now. And even when it comes to consumer goods, it's pretty soft, even as we head into the holiday season. He laid out a pretty clear picture. I want to come back to that FedEx pilot's offer. Eye-popping, right? I mean, I'm going to show the numbers right now, but really eye-popping. So I'm
Has
looking
this
at
ever
it.
happened before?
You know what? I don't know if this has ever happened before, but I also want to amend something. And Tyler, I'm not correcting you, just amending. It's not for the holidays. They're actually advising these pilots just to go take jobs.
Go take
at
jobs
PSA permanently.
Wow.
What, does this mean that they're laying them off, or are they saying take side gigs?
No, leave FedEx.
Leave
And
FedEx
go over to
and
PSA.
go to
So FedEx and PSA. PSA is a wholly owned subsidiary of American Airlines. So American and FedEx have a very close relationship. I want to show the graphic right now of the offer from PSA Airlines. It's a regional commuter airline, again, fully owned by American Airlines. So you get a $250,000 signing bonus, eye-popping, obviously.
Yeah.
$175,000 paid in your first paycheck.
Wow.
There's obviously some terms in here, but this is the general offer. 12 days off per month, and also longevity credit for vacation, retirement, et cetera,
So
which
you
is
get almost
important.
$500,000 just for walking in the door to be a pilot over there. Why is this gift sitting out there for the offing?
Well, here's the thing. At FedEx, they told us over a year ago they're cutting flights, they're cutting worker hours. Raj Subramanian, remember, famously right here on CNBC saying he saw a global economic slowdown. Since then, they've been pretty dramatically cutting their flights, cutting their worker hours, so none of this is a surprise. Also, another story you and I were talking about, UPS pilots taking early retirement from UPS, almost 200 of them, actually a few more than UPS originally planned, but taking those early retirement offers, they're getting a similar offer from PSA Airlines. So there's obviously two sides to this story. Demand for passenger flights up, demand for consumer goods down. I also want to show you the statement from the pilots union very quickly. I'm only going to read part of it. They say, "We do not consider this an acceptable offer for FedEx pilots, and our pilot membership reacted accordingly in messages that we've received." And they say, if FedEx is comfortable with pilots leaving, they should instruct their bargainers to make proposals to entice pilots who are otherwise waiting to retire, similar to UPS. Full circle, if you want to get a good picture of the demand picture when it comes to goods.
Why isn't the union happy about? So is it because if
doesn't
they
that tell you
leave?
how lucrative the jobs are at those two companies?
So if the pilots leave FedEx to go to a regional airline, they get $500,000 right off the bat, almost, and all these perks. But is the union basically saying they would get more if they stayed at FedEx and maybe reach full retirement there? Is that why they think this is a raw deal?
These are jobs with great compensation, great benefits. FedEx is, of course, a top-notch company to work for. This is a commuter airline. It's just a different schedule. It's a different lifestyle. PSA Airlines has hubs in, I believe their main hub's in Charlotte, but they have also hubs in Philadelphia, a couple other cities around the country. It's just simply a different job.
Are the pilots at PSA represented by the same union as those at FedEx?
I do not believe they're represented by the same union.
That might be why the people,
that too.
the heads of the FedEx union don't want them to leave.
Amazing sign of the times.
Right.
Leave the package carrier and go to the domestic airline, where everybody's traveling.
Fully owned subsidiary of American Airlines. So it's not just a regional carrier. It is part of the American Airlines family, which is obviously a very big company. But you were mentioning, how bad is it? Okay. So we got some numbers out of China about imports. Imports were actually up 3%, but when you look at imports from the U.S., it was down almost 4%. So basically, just less things going in and out of the U.S. for FedEx, for UPS. The U.S. is still their home market, their core market. So just a general slowdown. But remember, it's off extreme highs due to a global event that disrupted everything.
Mortgage rates. Let's talk about that for a second. You got about a 7.5% 30-year fixed rate conventional mortgage. 82% of mortgages are below 5%. You got to go down another 250 basis points to even think about refi. So sure, it will become cheaper for those that don't own a mortgage to buy a home as they come down maybe 100 or 150 basis points. But you need a significant and sustainable drop in those interest rates to kickstart that better outlook for money. And that, guys, the market bottoms in a recession. Not because the data is getting better, the data gets worse. It's because the outlook for money improves with significantly lower rates in mortgages, corporate credit, and treasuries. And right now, we've got a hint of that. I think it'll be more aggressive into next year. So as you guys know, I'm looking to attack weakness, similar to what we did maybe last Monday, than to try to play big on the downside, because that's in a lot of stock.
And right now, we have the consumer showing hoes. We know small businesses are showing hoes, but we know these big corporations are going to act like they're losing money. But we know they're making plenty because they no longer have any competition. It's an illusion of choice. But we have a lot of these companies are hiring less for the holidays. And remember, the FedEx CEO sent out a warning last year. He was saying the same thing that I was saying. You could clearly see there was going to be a downturn coming soon. And we know the Fed keeps saying the consumer is in great shape. But guys, we can easily see different just by going to the Fed's website. But we have FedEx does something unbelievable. It tells its pilots to go work for a subsidiary of American Airlines. And this is clearly showing you how bad things are. The subsidiary is offering a $250,000 sign-on bonus. And we know news like this is not going to make its way through the mainstream media. Moves like this clearly lets us know that inflation and high rates for longer is crushing consumers globally. And we know the NWO caused the problem, wait for the reaction, and run in with the solution. And I guarantee you, drones are going to be the next topic. Remember, we're in a fragmented world. Every sector has to be broken up in order to bring in the robots, algorithms, and drones. And then, guys, we have Dwyer on the housing market. And we know part of the reason the Fed raised rates so high is because of the housing market. Because it's going to make you stay put. Nobody's going to buy and nobody's going to refinance. And we know that's how the Fed controls supply and demand. This economy was already a false illusion. But almost 4 years ago, the event that we had allowed the Fed to take over the whole economy. Now they're ready to destroy it along with the United States World Reserve currency. So China, the dragon, can rise with the emerging markets with that digital yuan backed by that digital SDR. And remember, the Cryptoteacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.